Hello and welcome to today's edition of Route 664, The Road to Human Kindness. I'm Les Winston and I'm your host. I'm also the national spokesperson for socialsecharity.org. That is a project of the Endow America Network Foundation, and our objective is to endow America. We want to make the world a better place because we can change things using the nonprofit sector the way that it was intended. We want non-governmental organizations to be supported by the public without tax dollars. We want to do it through endowment. And that's where we come to the theory of social security. The theory of social security is 664 equals E squared, where 664 is a section of the tax code that was given to us by Congress in 1969, all those years ago, which has amazing power. We call it the power of love. It's heart in a heart, and it equals E squared. E squared, the power of endowment squared. We can create endowment for individuals using 664. Individuals have the right to create these trusts and then to fill these trusts with assets, with cash or with non-cash assets, to make that endowment as big as possible in order to support themselves later in life. That's a very powerful tool. It's a tool that can't be taken away from anybody. We recommend everybody have a 664 trust. The other part, the endowment that's left when that individual passes and they're no longer getting income, that endowment is left to the community, the way that that individual sees fit. That's why it's E squared. It's a very powerful formula. It's the power of love. The Endow America Network Foundation is working with the Aventura Sunny Isles Beach Chamber of Commerce on a chamber project. It's the Chamber Charity Project. We believe that the chambers of commerce have a way to level the playing field throughout the country. This is a very big project, and it's something that has to be done systematically. And so what we have discovered is that nonprofit organizations are based in Aventura and based in Sunny Isles Beach. And those are the ones that we want to help primarily to get endowed. And we want to help the citizens of the cities endow themselves and then endow the charity. That's how 664 works. That's what the theory of social security is. Now, in my other day job as the president of the Aventura Sunny Isles Beach Chamber of Commerce, being very community-oriented and helping the commercial community as well as the residential community, it's very important for us to have our elected officials competent, capable of doing what needs to be done, and who have a way of doing it. And my guest this morning is a candidate for the mayor of Sunny Isles Beach, the city of Sunny Isles Beach, and her name is Anita Funtek, and she joins me now. How are you, Anita?
Thank you so much, very well, and thank you so much for the invitation.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed listening all these plans that you have with charities.
Good.
We have actually a connecting point here, because in my previous, jobs, I have been the chairwoman of a large foundation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a non-profit foundation. And you are an economist, I'm an economist. So we know exactly that these charitable foundations are really a great opportunity for helping the community and also helping the cause of these foundations. So congratulations to this concept, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And second, I would like to do everything that we are helping you.
Mm-hmm.
As elected mayor, we can work together in this
We will
cause.
look forward to that, Anita, absolutely. And I want to stress the idea that you're an economist. That's your background. Tell me a little bit about your backstory.
So I'm an economist from high school and university, MBA. So I was studying economy and foreign trade. That's my, finance. Even in the school, when I finished in the university, they called me back to teach economy, finance, business planning, knowledge management, globalization, so all these subjects, which I enjoyed greatly, because this is how you help in your community, or in your university for the next generation. I think one of the greatest, experience, and that's what I recommend to most of my children and everybody who is starting the work, I started with a multinational company. I was working with General Electric, and you got great values, team spirit, teamwork, leadership skills. They are paying a lot of attention that you are learning the basics, the values, how to work with other people, how to lead a company.
It's also a very large scale.
It's a large scale. You cannot have a company, like thousands of employees directed with micromanagement, micro organization. you have to get values. You have
Right.
to implement values. And this is also something what I believe that it doesn't matter if you are working in a multinational company. I had also my own company and leading a charitable foundation. You always need a vision. And this is what you learn when you are working, for example, with a large company, and it could be also a good example for a city, that you always need to convey a vision, which direction this city is going, how do we want to be known in the next years, next 25 years. Sunny Isles Beach just became 25 years old.
Right.
We had some very significant mayors previously who were visionaries. And I admire their plan. I admire
This is
their
one of the things they put out to live and play, Sunny Isles
Exactly,
Beach. Yes.
exactly.
Yeah. And
So-
they talk about the 25th anniversary in there.
Exactly. So the 25th anniversary is like a milestone. And I believe that the city is at a crossroads. So we need to see what is the direction.
Why is it at a crossroads?
Two reasons. One is because Collins Avenue, the east side of Collins Avenue, has been, developed with all the beautiful new construction buildings. We have
That's
an
the
amazing.
ocean side.
Is the ocean
Right.
side, yes. East of Collins is the ocean side, is on the sand. We have star architects who were and developers who were developing this area in the last 25 years. Instead of a motel row, now we have a beautiful skyline, which we have to be proud of. And what's happened in the West? It
That's a
left
good question.
behind. It has left behind. So what I see is that if we want to make Sunny Isles Beach the zip code of 33160 to be the strongest zip code in entire Miami, in entire Florida, which is a reasonable goal, then we need to see what is the weakest link in the chain. And we need to examine the buildings which we have on the west side, because when you see, who would ever think in the United States, in Florida, or even in Miami, that in Surfside, what happened last
Collapse,
year
yes.
could happen. So we need to have a very strong and thorough examination, see how the buildings, what is the status of the current, building structure.
So it's like
and
taking
group.
inventory of the inventory of the west side.
And
okay?
make it transparent. But I see now that I'm very proud of this, that I went to every single building in Sunny Isles Beach. I visited every single building, the property managers or the board or residents who are living there. And I asked them, how do you see Sunny Isles Beach? What is the lack of? What are you missing? And many people came to me and they said, what do you think? What is the condition of my building? And
Is that was primary on their mind because of what happened?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also because there is not a transparent structure right now, which is saying that this is the west side. This is how the building looks like from concrete restoration point of view, from hurricane windows. And
Well, who would do that evaluation, Anita? Who would pay for that evaluation?
what I would love to do is that this is our mutual interest. If, let's say, anything happens in Sunny Isles Beach, that we have any building collapse or whatever, that's impacting the entire city. So it's the city's
Well, I don't think
best-
anybody wants to have a collapsed building for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it doesn't matter which building. It can be a smallest building, but it's going to impact the largest building and the most luxurious building. Because people, when they see Miami, it happened in Miami. When the Chaplin Tower collapsed, I got calls from all over the world from friends like, I hope you haven't been there. I hope you are safe. So for us
Yeah.
to keep our strong reputation in Sunny Isles Beach, we need to make sure that we are uplifting the west side of the Collins Avenue. And how I can imagine is that we need to help these people, because these people are not the same audience who is living on the east side of Collins. They might have, issues with
No, it's a
paying.
completely different
Exactly.
economic sphere on the west side of Collins Avenue. There's no question about that, and probably that's where most of the voting public is, because
Exactly.
they're the consistent.
Yeah, because we have absentee owners on the east side of Collins Avenue, and the people who are living there in the city are mostly living on the west side of the Collins Avenue. But what I see is how much a building is changing when you have hurricane windows. But can you force people? Hurricane windows cost a lot. What we need to do is that we need to help them to have this comfort and security and safety in these buildings.
Okay.
The city entirely is going to be uplifted. Our city is one of the
So are you
richest
looking
cities.
to, so if I understand you correctly, are you looking to support some of these buildings through assistance with assessments or making money available?
So
Is it tax money? Or
what I see is that we don't want to be like charitable organizations can be also one angle that we can have a city development fund which is helping those people who are really
Well, I think
in
that would be
need.
great, because that way we would be using endowment to build endowment, and if the city has an endowment like that for that purpose, that would be non-tax.
This is one of the options. Our city is very rich. So I'm not saying that from other taxpayers' money we can give out. It's
Is
not a
the city
giveaway.
rich or the people are rich?
The city is also very rich. The city
Okay.
has a lot of reserves. And what I say is that we need to see who is the one who needs help, and we can provide certain help, but it doesn't have to, it's not giveaway. Definitely
Okay.
nobody wants to have a giveaway, but we can have with a reasonable interest. And there is an opportunity when you helping HOAs with financing options, because there's a new rule coming out in 23 which is saying that every building has to have reserves. So you can do financing towards those reserves. When you are an economist, and I used to work 8 years in a bank, so I
Right.
know exactly that how these concepts could be put together, that we are helping people, we are uplifting the west side of the Collins Avenue, the older buildings, and at the same time we are not using other taxpayers' money for giveaway. That's not
Okay.
the goal, definitely not.
What
So
about development on the west side?
developments, again, we need to have a vision. What do we want to have in the next 25 years? There are certain buildings, I visited all of them, so there are certain buildings where the improvement is very difficult to do. If you don't have, proper air conditioning, you cannot replace, it's not worth to replace the hurricane windows. There are some buildings which are in this stage. Most of the buildings are large buildings. They have to be improved.
Are we talking about condominiums now, or are we talking about commercial buildings?
We are talking about condominiums now. The commercial part is in private hand. I would love to see the commercial area to improve, because when you see the east side, also the population is growing. We have more people who were absentee owners before. Now they are moving their full-time owners and full-time residents to the city. And they want to have more restaurants. They want to have more commercial, shopping. You have to go to Aventura Mall or you have to go to Bal Harbour if you want to do something like, like a nice shopping experience.
Right.
So what I see is that in the future, I would love to see the improvement in Sunny Eyes regarding shopping, dining, and the vibrant, nightlife that I think it's lacking right now.
Yeah, they've done some things in Aventura that are really uplifting, and some, like on 207th Street in Aventura, where they've built that complex there. So one of the things that I've been to the beach long ago when there were no tall buildings. You could sit on the beach until 4 o'clock in the afternoon and get sun from the west.
Yeah.
Now you can't.
Now you have to find the spots actually where you don't have like Samson Park, like a couple of spots still available. But that's true that the high rises are, making the shade at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is something which is, there are pros and cons. The city is improving, but but we have a great opportunity because Hollower Park is very close to us, and there are no constructions, no buildings in Hollower Park. And this huge park is really open. They also have a section where they can have, people can take their dogs, because otherwise, on the beach it's not allowed, but they can have, like a dog walking area even in Hollywood.
What about, because one of the things that I'm most concerned about from my perspective is I don't want to be driving down a dark Collins Avenue at all hours of the day, because there's high rises on both sides of the road. There are tall buildings on both sides of the road. Is that part of what you see?
This is going back again that like a master plan is a sophisticated urban environment. What we are right now doing is like band-aids. I don't know if you remember, there was the Infinity Project on 163rd Collins Corner. And what happened there is right now there's a moratorium which is giving like a temporary regulation. But what's going to happen after the moratorium is over? We're going to have high rises there, or we're going to have certain limitation. We need to plan it. We need to create. The city right now doesn't have like a center. It doesn't have something which is, you know, when you, like, I'm coming from Europe, we usually have, you know, like a nice center of the city where you can sit with restaurants, with the park, with walking, like more.
In Aventura, we
walkability.
have the Aventura Mall, which is one of the which is
Exactly.
the center of that community. Yeah. So is that something you see as well?
What I see is that with this, you know, we have star architects who are helping the city to be formed like it is right now. What we need is we need to pull together also these people and say, let's make Sunny Isles Beach a beautiful 21st, 22nd century, innovative, strong, safe city. Part of this is also the traffic, pedestrian traffic. Right now, 2 years ago, there was a plan for a pedestrian bridge. Went to all the way of stage 2, defining how it's going to look like, even where the window is going to be, has been canceled. Now there is a request, then it's canceled. So we need to see what is the plan, how we can solve this traffic. We can expect an additional about 4,000 or 5,000 cars. 2 buildings, some Centridges, Bentley. Aurora is going to be delivered. The 2 buildings of Aquilina is almost done, so people start to move in. These are a lot of cars.
Yeah. How do you get across? I mean, I don't know how people cross Collins Avenue up there.
It's like a nightmare.
It's like,
it's like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Now what I see is that we have a light pole, and then it says, now stop because pedestrians crossing, don't turn right, don't turn left. But again, band-aids here, band-aids there. We don't have something which is a nicely regulated setup. Everything is rush hour. In the morning when we have the school starts, you cannot even go out. Afternoon, construction workers and also the kids leaving the school, we need to solve this. This is something which is
That's
like
the K.
right
You're talking
now.
about the K through 8 school. It's in
Sunny Isles Beach,
right
the
now.
Norman
Edo
S.
Club,
Ada Club School.
Edo Club
Yes.
School. Yeah. So are you familiar with what Elon Musk is talking about?
Which part?
Elon Musk.
Buying Twitter or sending people to the Mars, or which part of Tesla?
Elon Musk, he's talked about building a tunnel from near the Golden Glades interchange, an underground tunnel, of course, underground tunnel, that's a redundancy, but building a tunnel from that location all the way to Sunny Isles Beach,
Okay.
where they would use electric vehicles to transport people from that to there. So obviously, Sunny Isles Beach is a target for people.
Yeah.
I know as a chamber president, we get 30,000 hits a month on our website because of Aventura, the name Aventura, or Sunny Isles Beach,
Yeah.
and it's all over the world. So, being that, I know it's called the Venice of Florida.
Florida's Riviera.
Florida's Riviera.
Sunny Isles
okay.
Beach, Florida's Riviera.
Right. And is it a city now, in your opinion? It is a city by name,
It
but
is a city by
but is it
name.
carried that way? Because you got all these huge condo high-rises that are very high end, and they're occupied part of the year, and there's a lot of people that don't live there most of the year. So
You cut actually one point that I really want to pay attention, and this is the increase the quality of life and the community feeling in the city. Because right now you are right that we have beautiful, even the infrastructure is okay, fixing few things with the traffic, and I have some ideas which would be really great for walkability. But what I see right now is we have more people moving in, but we are not a community yet. So what I would love to see in the future is to have Sunny Isles Beach like a beautiful melting pot, where it doesn't matter where you came from, We have a lot of people from Eastern Europe, from Middle Europe, from North America, from South America. Some people, if you are born and raised in Sunny Isles Beach, people are like, wow, really? Like, you know that 52% of Miami was raised and born in another country.
Right.
So we have to have programs which are combining the community. That's why what I would like to propose, for example, is having a farmer's market. Farmer's market is something that no matter age, religion, you can go there, check out the, you know, little
Produce, right.
like
Bringing the farm to the city.
exactly
Yeah.
little small businesses who are willing to get known in the city. This is a great opportunity, and also a great opportunity for the families to get together, have their, you know, maybe Friday lunch or Saturday dinner, or Sunday we can decide which day we want to have the farmers market. But this is what I see coming from Europe, that these are programs which are combining, having one celebration where the entire city comes together. I know that we have programs for kids, for elderly, for Hispanic. It's a little bit dividing. So we need to organize programs which is
Good for everybody.
attraction for the city. So we are attracting also people like, what is going on in Sunny Isles? Wow, this is something amazing. Let's check it out. We need to get Sunny Isles Beach known from something.
One of the things that impressed me when I spoke to you before was the fact that you think outside the box. So I don't want to get specific, but I do want to talk to you about the thing that's very important to the chamber, which is getting a high school in Sunny Isles Beach.
Yep.
There is a very large tax base in Sunny Isles Beach. There is a lot of population there. We understand that there are people that may not be in favor of a high school because they may think it's a noise element, but you've talked to the buildings. I don't know what the impression is that they have with regard to having a high school there. What is your...
Let me speak from my own
see?
example, because I'm lucky enough, I have 3 beautiful kids. They started to go to school in Norman Aceda Cup, kindergarten, 1st grade. My little one is still in Norman Aceda Cup on the 7th grade. So, and now the 2 older one is in junior and senior classes in ATM.
Okay.
So
ATM is Alonzo Tracy Morning High School,
which
and
is
that's in
North Miami.
FIU.
Next
that's
to
in the
FIU,
FIU campus.
exactly. So, but you know, when we are talking about like high school, it needs a large space. I think the minimum requirement is about 10 acres. So the space to this
Has to be found.
has to be found. But we can think this out of box. And this is where, you know, we come back to the conversation we had before, which was that let's see where is the location that we have the 10 acres. We don't disturb the traffic of the city, because this, if we have the elementary school and another high school.
Well, high schools are going to be driving, and they're going to need parking. Though the city is not that big, they're not going to walk from one end to the other.
Exactly.
So they need to drive.
It would disturb the city if it's within the city. But we have the beautiful Hollover Park. There is no school in the United States. It would be in the ocean front. We have a large parking space next to the marina, and we are building 56-story high-rises on the sand. So why we could not build a 5-6-story
That's a great idea.
high school right
That's a
on
great
the
idea.
sand?
That would be a great. I'd like to go to that high school.
You see, this is
that would be great. Yeah, that would be a really good idea.
that bold factor that we are missing, that we need to do something which is, if we do it, it has to be bold and beautiful.
Okay, so
and
politics versus economics.
that's a very good subject. I love it.
Yeah. My belief is that politics gets in the way of a lot of things, and economics is a rational way to solve things.
Yes.
So being an economist and looking at the economics of this whole city, the way it's operated, the tax base, can you bring something better to the way it's operated?
What I see right now is operation-wide, I think we have few areas that we need to catch up with employees, with workers in the government. two main parts that I see is the building department and the public works.
Okay.
Because the streets, I think we have 5 people in public works, which is not enough to maintain an entire city. So we need to have that area. It's the daily operation of the city. And where is the point where you meet with the city? When you have a construction, a renovation, and if you have to wait and sit there hours and hours on the city hall for waiting for the permit.
That slows up everything. It makes it more expensive and everything else.
And we need to see that Sunny Isles Beach is built on the real estate market. So what is the point where all the residents are meeting with the city? And it's critical. Building department and public works, and safety is the third part, but I think we are good in police attendance point of view. We are
Okay.
We have enough police officer, we have an amazing new chief.
Crime is not an issue in Sunny
Crime
Isles
is not
Beach.
an issue.
Okay.
And but I see pedestrian safety is an issue.
Okay.
But this has a connection with the traffic. Solving traffic issues is going to have to solve the traffic with pedestrian safety issue. And government-wise, as an economist, what I see is that we need to see what are the assets of the city, using that wisely, and using it for the benefit of the residents.
Right.
Let's say just one
In
more
the best
thing.
way possible.
Exactly. So
I'm not leading you, but we're going to run out of time.
Okay.
This has been very interesting and a very enlightening interview, Anita, and appreciate your coming in. My guest is Anita Funtek, who is a candidate for the mayor position in Sunny Isles Beach, and has opposition. 2 other people are running as well. They've appeared on community news in the past, and we want to give Anita equal opportunity.
thank you. I
So
really appreciate
thank
it.
you for coming in today and being on Route 664, the road to human kindness. And we look forward to working with you. Hopefully we can change things for the better. It's not a bad place to live already, but we can really make it
I believe
amazing.
in teamwork. So what we need to do is that pull as many people as we can. We have in the city like Carl Icons, like we have really good
Yes,
assets
yeah,
in the city.
I'm sure you do. In order to afford apartments there, you have to be pretty wealthy. This is Route 664, the road to human kindness, and we talk about a lot of different things on the program. Some of them have to do with local cities, like Aventura and Sunny Isles Beach, and the other part of what we do, of course, is endowing America and using social charity and getting the communities to utilize the charitable wealth that's in the community and create more charitable wealth to take the burden off of government, not so much the city government, but the federal government and state government. And we can find ways to fund schools, we can find ways to do additional funding for recreation, for senior care, child care, all the things that sometimes are promised by government but can't be delivered. The power of Route 664 and the power of 664, you can hear it all the time, 24/7 at route664.org. That's our radio station. That broadcasts 24/7. You can hear the interviews that we're doing on a regular basis. They're replayed there. You can check out the schedule. It's a very detailed schedule. We have a lot of different features. It's just jazz, and we have Classy Sunday. We have classical music, but we also have musical that's about happiness and joy and love and making you feel better about all things. And on Sundays, you can clean your house to the best music there is and the best array of music, because it's a lot of different things in a day. It's a great opportunity for you to learn about 664, social charity, what we're trying to do, and also to have good listening. So I want to wrap up with Anita. One last question, Anita. When you're elected, what is the most difficult issue that you will face when you walk in that door the first day?
What I see is because I was not a politician, to manage all the
Politician
part of the city, because I like to focus on issues. I like to focus on solutions, and that's why I need to create the vision to get everybody on board and make people excited, because we are working for the same goal, for the same mutual interest, making our city a beautiful place to live, to love, to play, and enjoy maybe the ocean, our children, our families, or work there. So I need
I hope
to
you
create
motivate them
that.
to vote.
Exactly.
Okay.
So everybody should go. The mail-in voting started already, so I hope we have a runoff. Then December 6th, everybody is going to vote. I would like to encourage everybody to make your voice heard, because this is how you can change the future of a city, how you can change the future of a country, that you put the little circle and you put the circle in the box, or you put the choice that you
Right.
have in the box, and you make sure that your choice is there and making a count. So I would,
Okay.
this is what I think that is one of the most important right now, that as many people can vote, please go and vote.
Okay. Thank you, Anita.
Thank
Anita
you so
Funtek.
much.
All right. We'll see you again next week. This is Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness. Make sure you tune into the radio show. Great music. Great talk. See you later.